Hello everyone, and welcome back to another manga chapter review. I am the Rat, and this is The Rat's Nest. I'm joined as always by Kyle. Say hi, Kyle.
Naruto cameo.
She made an appearance this episode, Kyle. How crazy is that?
That's so crazy.
We got to see her, and what's better, she's hot.
How old is she? I mean, just...
Let's get right into it. Chapter 119, I believe this is.
Yeah, Thief. That's
yeah.
what it's called.
So you got Ashley and Dennis arriving at the compound, right?
The Tatsuki apartments.
Yeah, the sussy named apartments. That was a stupid post where I found that out. Someone did that and said the apartment name is kind of sussy. Like, oh, shut up! I love you.
Someone brought up about. I mean, I kind of get it. Where someone said, "Why isn't he in like Aki's old apartment?" I mean, that was. I don't remember if it was destroyed or if what I assume it is. He can't afford it.
Yeah, it was pretty destroyed by the gun fiend. And then why reinvest the money? And then, because Dennis just got the inheritance. And then theoretically, he's getting money to pay for Nayata, right, from Kishibe.
Yeah, but
we don't know that for certain. But theoretically, and then it's just better to save up by living in a place like this. And Dennis is used to it, right? I mean, this is nicer than he's had even.
The fact that he has to live in the Tatsuki faulty motor apartments is it's pretty rough.
That is so rough. But because I thought he was living in Aki's house too. But then reading this and realized, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
It makes sense. So, also, he probably kept the dogs on his own, so I don't know if he's getting money for the dogs. He didn't have to keep the dogs,
Yeah, I assume not, so...
We get the first of the unbreakable rules. Don't open the door to any apartment other than mine.
Trauma.
The question is this like an actual thing? Like Nayata's range extends like beyond the whatever? Or is this just Dennis like, hey, don't go into my neighbors' houses?
I mean, I could see it going either way. Because it's one of those where the other two rules have implicated... Spoilers, there's 3 rules. Ooh, like the other rules have implications with Nayuta. Like whenever we get to the second rule, there's something I want to bring up, which you probably already know what I want to bring up. But with this might just be a Dennis made rule. But I could see it being like her control extends over to like all of these. What would be interesting? I mean, we don't know. Is there any other people living in this apartment complex? And so maybe that's why, where no one else has control over these like other apartments. So by default, she just has control over all of them. If they're the only ones living there, it might be.
It would be interesting to find out.
Sorry, I probably went too deep into that, but it's a door.
Yeah.
Don't go in other apartments. That's
so funny doors, right? Funny Fujimoto with hallways and doors, but. And then we go on, and then Asa goes, why would I open them? Don't be ridiculous. And then Dennis got the classic Dennis look right there. Good point. Well, come on in. So, maybe there is something to it, or maybe he was just caught off guard. Maybe he's like, I'm just not going to explain it.
Yeah, and I mean, we get to see the inside of the apartment. Hey, it's his apartment. It's pretty nice for what it is.
Yeah. And they got they got the plants, they got the TV, they got a little vacuum cleaner over there, probably for the dogs.
Enhanced vision. There's that. There's like holes in it. They got the
I think that what I've seen a lot of people think too is Nayata practicing bang, right? That attack.
That's scary. I don't like that implication.
Because I saw that too, and I was like, "What is that?" It could just be stickers too. I mean, we see here on the floor that there's a lot of like coloring and artsy materials. That's probably Nayata's. I don't see Dennis having the time or the drive for that, so that's probably Nayata's.
On the door, it looks like a little pitchfork right above the pictures. That's at least what I see. I mean, I'm probably reading too much into it, but yeah,
it does.
And then, because I mean, they got the Walter White van door, or like
so true.
Yeah, but I don't like that implication that she's practicing bang. That makes me sad. And then what else? We'll see it in bigger detail in a bit, but like the 2 potted plants, the healthy one is Dennis's, and then what's it? Natalie. That's Natalie.
Her name is Natalie.
Yeah, that's Brandon originally.
Natalie's crazy for this one.
And it's all wilted. Yeah, like it's a nice looking apartment for what it's worth. And then we move on to the next page. We get we see them watching their movies, and then we see that there's just a chart that's titled March Farts, and I really wish I knew what that meant. I'm dying for an answer on that one.
You know, it could be a threat, it could be a promise. We just don't know.
It's either him keeping track of the amount of times that they farted for like a contest. I like the joke of, what is this, like for a contest or like public humiliation? I don't know, but yeah, just another fun detail. And then as we're watching the movie, he brings up another rule that I was going to talk about a little bit earlier. Rule number 2: don't open the fridge. Do you think that that's because there's more pieces of Makima in there? Like,
I don't think so. I think he finished her. Like, I think whenever he talked to Kishibe, it was done. And then because like if there was still parts of her left, then how was she able to reincarnate as Nayuta?
That's true. I mean, it's just one of those where I
because like I originally thought that too, and then I was like, well, I don't think there would be any of her left at this point.
That's fair.
I think what people are saying, what I've heard and what sounds right is that this is March 1998, and so it's a couple of months after the end of Part 1, which I think lines up pretty well with the timeline. Which will also be interesting then to talk about with whenever we get to Nayuta.
Yeah, because then the other idea I have for this is, like all the food in there would be under her control. So it's like if she opens the fridge, it like breaks that rule of control. That's at least. I mean, that's
Now, what if it's like you can't encroach on things that like she thinks is hers?
Yeah.
Right. Because it's like you have the apartment complex. Like, what if she thinks like the rest of it is hers for some reason, right? Maybe there's no one else living there or whatever.
He's a kid with these powers, essentially. So, like, we live here. This is our place. That's our fridge. That's partially owned by me. It's him and I's fridge. It's ours. And then it's this part's really funny where he's like, "Oh, okay. Rule number 3. This is the most important one. My roommate's out walking the dog. She'll be home soon. She's a huge problem child with an extreme personality. No matter what, don't make out with me in front of her."
Dennis the Riz Lord, bro.
And okay, so before we meme on it more, that not the tie into what I was saying a moment ago. Yeah, like again, she in her probably kid mind might see it as like, oh well, like he's mine. He's like my caretaker. And so encroaching on Dennis would be encroaching on that. But, logistics aside now, this is a really funny interaction.
You get Ashley just like dumbfounded. She's like, huh, excuse me, like hell am I going to make out with you? That is not why I came over. And then Dennis is like, oh, I know, but one thing might lead to another. And she goes, in your dreams, bro. She is down bad, dude. Down horrendous, bro. Asa is never beating the femcel allegations.
So, yeah.
All these stupid buzzwords. Oh my gosh. What would a Chainsaw Man chapter review be without the new buzzword of the week? Oh my gosh.
This entire interaction was great because after that, she's like, "Why would you even bring that up? Do you think I like you?" And then his response is like, you asked me on a date. I figured you must 90% like me." And she goes, "There's no way I'd like you. On the contrary, I hate you."
Like, say, what? You hate me? This is Dennis's first encounter with a tsundere.
Yeah, because the others were like visibly just crazy and violent. This is like tsundere levels of crazy and violent.
Yeah, Dennis just doesn't understand her, and like for good reason, right?
They both understand, because if they both knew what each other was, there'd be a fight. Because all Yoru wants is Chainsaw Man, and he obviously wouldn't want to die now. But yeah. She's like, "Yeah, I hate you. Besides," and then she says, after we get another iconic Dennis stare.
yeah, the Dennis stare. That's so true.
Have rules you have to obey or die, right? Well, so do I. You should just stay away from me, Denji, or you'll wind up dead. Which, it's interesting because they both basically told each other, if you might die being involved with me. I think that's interesting.
I mean, Dennis straight up told her that he's Chainsaw Man, right? I mean, that's just information that's out there.
Okay, he did. However, within context, yeah, they don't believe that. They just think, oh, he's some some dumb guy to date. So yeah, they both basically have told each other like there are rules to follow, or they'll get each other killed almost. So yeah, I just find that interesting. Where those like the death card have both been played out there, and so now it's seeing where their relationship grows.
Then you have Asa going, I only went on a date with you because I wanted a distraction. I'll leave after the movie. Get the iconic Dennis stare. And we see Ashley looking pretty darn sad.
Yeah, I mean,
it's obvious, right? Yeah. She likes him, right? Even if she won't openly admit it. Yeah, but she's like, I can't be with you because like now I like you. Now I don't want you to turn into a weapon, but that's what Yoru is going to try to do, right? So I need to stay away from you to protect you, and that is sad. I think that's a very interesting avenue for her character to go down. Yes, and she's very clearly torn up. I love the contrast of the two expressions. Dude, Fujimoto and expression. It wouldn't be a Chainsaw Man episode without bringing up Fujimoto's expressions, right?
Yeah.
They're very good.
They're very realistic. Like, you could argue, I mean, he's an amazing artist, but, you might have some people being like, oh, well, this author has, like, better drawn expressions, like, physically. It's like, yeah, well, I mean, like, the portrayal of the emotion, just looking at them, you can just pretty much read exactly what they're thinking, and I think that this is wonderful.
Yeah. So then they're just sitting there watching the movie, and then we get a Dennis inner monologue, dude. A Dennis inner monologue.
This is like, what, number 2?
Yeah, something like that. And so he goes, huh? So she was only using me? Isn't it normal to ask someone out on a date because you like them? Did I do something wrong? Was it feeding her that starfish thing? Somebody once told me that I smell like wet dog. I thought it was a compliment, but maybe they meant that I stink. Maybe Asa hates me because I stink. I liked her a little, but if I stink, I guess that's that. So did I not sleep with dogs, huh? Wait a sec. Dogs don't stink. So, interesting little Dennis monologue here, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, normally you would ask someone on a date because you like them. He's completely understand why he's confused right now.
Yeah. And then also the comparison to a dog, I mean, obviously Makima stuff from part 1. Like the comparison to a dog, I just find interesting.
I don't think it was in part 1 that he was called a wet dog.
I mean, maybe it was in between.
Could be. Maybe it was before. I don't think it was in part. It could be in part 1, and I'm just forgetting it. But I haven't seen anyone point out where it is yet, so I don't know.
If it's in part 1, symbolism. If it's not, you could still make the case that like it's representative of something greater. But I'll just see it as he's literally being Dennis, thinking like, oh yeah, I mean, someone told me I smell like a dog. Maybe they actually meant that I stink. She hates me. It's like very basic Dennis levels of thinking. That's how I mean. That's
and like he thinks she actually hates him. He's like she don't cap.
Look at the top left cap. Look at the top left of page 9, where it's just another iconic Dennis there.
So true. I liked her a little bit. If I stink, I guess that's that. He just, I mean, bro gave up, and that's sad to see. Honest.
You ready to talk about the jump scare?
He's like, hey, dogs don't stink, right? Boom. Honest. So Kyle and I were talking about, like, I jumped when I read this. Like, I actually did.
Like, you made it to page 9 at one point. When you read this in 2 different sittings.
Yeah. So it was the same sitting. I was sitting in my class this morning, right? And it was boring because I don't like that class. And like 10 rolled around. It was like 10:05, and we like broke to talking with our partner about something. My partner is just my roommate, and so we just talked about it really fast. And he went to use the restroom. I was like, "Well, I got some time. I'm gonna read the chapter." I got to page 9. I got to the page right before this where Dennis is like, "Oh, dogs don't stink," right? And so then I was just like, and then my teacher, she started talking about stuff again. I'm like, "Okay, cool, whatever," right? So I put the chapter down for a little bit. And like 10 minutes later, I came back to it. And I was just reading it. I reread the last couple pages, just to, refresh myself a little bit going to the next one. And then, like, I was just, like, half, like, absent-mindedly flipped the page, saw that. It genuinely scared me. I jumped. I genuinely jumped.
That's a woman staring into the viewer's perspective.
I was just like, geez, it's terrifying. And I powered through the rest of the chapter because here I was in the middle of class watching Ashley kiss Dennis and make out super hot and passionately and all that. And so I had to speed through it. I was like, oh my gosh! But I saw Nayata at the end. I was like, wow, Pog.
Look, Dennis does not have his mouth open. His mouth is closed.
Mm-hmm.
Not making out with her. That's a very important detail.
Yeah, but it's just I saw someone's take on that. I think it was on one of the things you sent me, Kyle, where someone was like the really the masterful part of this is how, and we're looking back, you can really see it, how Dennis is then the center of attention. So like Ashley goes into like the back of your mind, right? You're not focused on her. It's Dennis and his inner monologue, right? It's like, yada yada, whatever. He's going on and on about that. And then as he looks over to Ashley too, and that's what he sees. So he sees the same thing we do. So he gets the same surprise that we do. That is so, like, that's the first time I've seen that in a manga. I've probably seen it before and I just wasn't conscious of it. But that's really impressive. Yeah,
to where he's looking out and like the bottom right, he's like, should I not sleep with the dogs? Wait, dogs will stink. And then the next panel he looks over and then boom, a small POV of what he sees.
Yeah.
And white girl jump scare.
That's a white woman jump scare. That's so true. Oh my gosh.
With jump scare earlier today, what can I say? Because I read it, I was just shocked. Didn't get jump scare. I was like, oh my god, just surprised that seeing Denji has game without even trying, mainly because Asa's other personalities there to help rebound. But yeah. So
he did puff his lips, so it's not like a real kiss.
What? That semantics be damned when a certain person whose name rhymes with Shimayuta walks in.
Yeah, so we got the next page where we see Yoru go out, grab his head.
Right? They're both sweating.
Yeah, Yoru is blushing. That's impressive. I don't know if that was like intentional from faulty motor. But like I saw that and like my first thought was Yoru is blushing. Like that's crazy. And so she tries to turn him into a weapon. Sure enough, the door opens. Yoru is surprised, still blushing and surprised, and then looks over. None other than Makima, otherwise known as Natalie. That's right, it was Natalie.
Yeah, Natalie. I thought you were just holding out on saying the name for some reason. But yeah, where I just like this panel, like seeing all like the funny dogs run in and just like being cheery and playful, and then we get to the next page and it's just femcel. It's just
gay.
Twitter verified.
Blue check mark.
There's so many memes of this. But yeah, last page.
We get Dennis very obviously annoyed at this. We get Yoru very obviously surprised at this because there's a chain going through her head.
Chain head woman. That's so true.
So, controlled devil, stronger than war devil, confirmed.
Or sailors, I'm sorry, little baby Nayuta here is stronger than anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a phenomenal cliffhanger. If nothing else, right? Because look, Shōnen Jump are all about consistent viewership. Faulty motor over here, making some of the best cliffhangers that I've seen from these chapters in quite a while, right? Because, I mean, without spoiling, we've been keeping up with ones like Hunter x Hunter, Jujutsu Kaisen, Black Clover. The cliffhangers are more like they happen in the middle of moments where it's like, okay, cool, they're in the middle of a fight, the fight stops, the character's inner monologue happens, they move on, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're gonna read it next week because you're already this far in. Faulty Motor just has these amazing cliffhangers to where, what was it in the last chapter where it was Denji's spinal cord sword, just to be like, whoa, what the fuck?
That was the one before that. Last chapter was there's rules you have to follow or you die.
Yeah, but the moments like this where we literally go from just a date to the control devil just all within the span of these couple pages. It's just I just get so excited reading these chapters, just seeing all these fun cliffhangers and how they just tie into each other. Because yeah, it ends on a pretty interesting note of thief, and then she gets the chain through her. So I usually, after discussing these chapters, and I mean there's still more to discuss, but I just don't really have anything I can predict. I just could not tell you what would happen next.
Yeah, so there's a couple things to talk about. Right. One is Nayuta has grown. Theoretically, it's been 6 months, right? Because it's March because of the March farts chart, right? And like people have compared the calendar of March, and it's March 1998. So it's roughly 6 months. I think it's a couple of months after part 1. Nayuta has grown because, and what you call it, there's a really good post on the Chainsaw Man subreddit about it, where it compares her sizes from the end of part 1 to now, specifically her in relation to the dogs. And she has grown. I'll send it to you after. I'll put it in the description of this video. Just remind me, Kyle. Check it out. So she's grown. So she grows at an accelerated rate, which I think we all already knew since she was born and was a child really soon after Makima died. But it's nice to have that confirmation. We don't know exactly how, quote unquote, old she is now. She's still younger. She's still a child, but not as much of a child as she was. Her hair has grown out, right? All these different things. But she has grown, and she's grown more than usual. So she grows at an accelerated rate. Yeah.
I mean, I like her design, where it's like she got like a sweater on or whatever it is, like the
whatever Makima hair.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying, where she has like the hair, and I mean, she has like the pants look like hers, where it looks like she's just wearing like the white shirt and like jeans like Makima did.
It does kind of look like that. Well, I don't know if that's like intentional on Faulty Motor's part, or if it's like just how he likes to draw fashion.
Faulty Motor intentionally, or is it literally just a faulty motor?
That's so true.
Yeah, this is a wonderful chapter. We all the span of these 16 pages, we get the iconic Rizsaw Man, we get White Woman Jumpscare, we get blue checkmark verification point. We got so many good moments this chapter.
I want to bring up a theory that I saw. I don't know what you call it. So obviously Nayuta says thief. The clear baseline distinction for this is, she's calling Yoru a thief for kissing and trying to steal Dennis, right? Obviously. Could also be she's calling Yoru a thief for stealing Asa's body.
Ooh.
I read that and I was like, I would not put that past Fujimoto to do that. I would not put that past him.
I think, because I thought you were going to bring us something with Dennis for whatever reason, but yeah, like I like that, where people think thief, it's like, you're making out with him, but thief is in like, maybe she, not like she broke the rule, and it's like, well, you also took this person's body, because literally right after this, right before this encounter, Asa was in full control, and then White Woman jump scared into making out, or an attempted make out. So yeah, no, I like that theory. I'm gonna keep that in mind. I'm gonna keep that in mind going into the next chapter, because it'll be interesting to see if that pays off.
It'll be very interesting to see. But yeah, no, this was a goodie. This was a very good one. This is going to be, I think, a more painful 2-week wait than last time, especially because we have less One Piece to dull the pain. We don't got it this Sunday, so that like blows.
Like the contents of last chapter. Also, I'm sad that I wasn't there last chapter. My thoughts on a really good chapter. We got like the conclusion of the spinal cord sword thing, and then we got like her in her bedroom, and then just like talking about going on the date again, and then it's like follow the rules or die. Like last chapter was the setup to this. I'm gonna call it an arc right now, but this one's like a cliffhanger at a very, very important moment. And I definitely will be reading this as soon as possible, right when it drops in 2 weeks.
It's going to be a goodie. So, if you're this far in the video, obviously there's something you like. So make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment telling us how scared you were by the White Woman jump scare. And we will see you this Sunday with Berserk Volume 7, probably. And then next Wednesday, not Volume 7, Volume 10. And then next Wednesday with Berserk Volume 11. And then the Sunday after that with One Piece back again. We had a very, very good chapter if you're a One Piece fan. We had a very good chapter last time.
Very good.
But yeah, so this was a goodie. And I believe we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.